You don't tie them? You're a bit like me, I don't tie them either, but I've got a bit. This feather here, I'm going to go below. This feather here, that's a feather that's beside the CDC feathers in the duck. Now everyone throws these out and got me buggered why. It's exactly the same stuff, but this stuff here is perfect for doing all your bodies. Alright, your CDC bodies, and then you use the bigger stuff like this one for bringing over the wings, the stuff with the core through the centre of it. So if you are doing your own ducks, grab these feathers from around them too, because there's heaps of CDC left on that you can just pull off and use, and I'll use it to tie this one. Yeah, just to do the bodies. And as I said, this one here will do for the overwing on the CDCs. Bit of thread again. I won't bother with tails or anything else in it, with a little bit of wire, just to make it a little bit stronger. Tip shops and places like that have all that sort of gear just sitting about. Alright, and here's the extra dubbing we're going to use off that CDC feather. When I pull a piece off like that, I'll cut off all those little tips, because I don't like them sitting up in the flies. They're probably alright, they probably don't make any difference, but it's probably just a little fussy thing that I do. And another thing you'll notice too, if you do your own ducks, the oil that you actually get out of these feathers compared to the ones you buy, there's just no comparison. Again with this, just real little bits, put it on, then bring up your tapered body. But it's easy when you pull them off if you can just then cut off those little tips. Most people probably leave them, I don't know, I don't, I'd like to cut them off. Now again, even with this CDC Emerger, there's a lot of different ways you can tie this. You can turn around and put a parachute hackle on it if you want. I tie this very similar than to the original Possum Emerger, with a loop. And then like these have just been, as you can see, these have just been pulled straight out of the duck and just left in a heap, and I think that's the best way to do it, and just put them in a container where they're probably not going to get too squashed. And then all you need to do is just pull out, you go 3, perhaps 4 of those. And they've still got a bit of gunk in it, but that'll just brush out. You just straighten them all up. Get rid of the butts. Now I like to bring that loop, or start tying it back a fair way like that, so it sits up a bit higher. You can let it come back, bring it back this way further on the hook if you want to. That's probably just a bit more of a personal preference again. That's the way I like to do it. A little bit more dubbing on that off that feather.
Yeah. You catch a fish.
Yeah, so and that's the reason why I don't use a lot of CDC. They're good for catching fish, there's no doubt about it, but you want a few tied, because when they get the sliminess off the fish on them, they do take a lot to get them dried back out so they're floating properly again. Just get rid of that little bit there. Now, I don't worry too much about the size of the loop as far as the wing goes, because the CDC feather probably governs you a little bit like that. But what I do like to do is when I bring that forward, I like to have a look to see how much distance I've got here, because what I do with this piece, I don't cut it off. I fold that back in under and put all the legs underneath. I've even tied them so this here comes back up on the top for a little bit rougher weather to make it actually float more. But I'll tie this one in and show you what I mean. Once you get to there, just part these if you can in the middle, that way, and as you part them, just start pushing them down so as they're going to come back for legs. Alright, now hopefully you can see underneath here the legs all coming out the side and the legs from underneath, and they just hang down. I do like to put just a little bit of a head on these. Also gives a little bit more floatability right up in the top of it.
That's still more CDC things?
Yeah, well this fly here, I think whoever designed the whole lot out of CDC, which is fine. Yeah, it's good. Now you could put tails in that if you wanted to. You could use CDC if you wanted to. It'd be entirely up to you what you actually wanted to do.